Hi everyone, this is Larry. I'm here today to do a beer recipe. It's my approximation of Bell's Two-Hearted Ale, which is a hoppy pale ale loaded full of Centennial hops, even including a First Wort edition of Centennial hops, which I'll cover as well. It adds a lot of flavor to the beer. Stay tuned. I'm going to cover some of the basics, some of the more advanced techniques. This is going to be sort of an all-around general video, not really targeted towards any beginner or advanced brewer. So I hope you enjoy. Morning, it's brew day. Here we go. I got hot water heating up for our beer today. To start off with the all-grain batch today, we're making mash. In order to make beer, mash is a mixture of malted crushed grains and hot water that steeps like a hot cereal for about an hour. To get some of the sugar, all the sugars out of that grain, which will turn into beer later. To do that, I have a trusty malt mill here that I put my grain into, mill it up, grind it up into a big bucket. I got caramel malts, Carapils malts, and the bulk of it's going to be pale ale malt. That's going to be the base malt for my beer. So let me grind that up and we'll move to the next step. Okay, I just got done milling the grain. You can kind of see here that this is what milled malt looks like. The husks are slightly broken open. The endosperm and the other contents are lightly crushed. This frees up the starch in them to be converted to sugar by the enzymes in the mash. So let's get this stuff in the mash. Alright folks, here's my mash tun. Actually, it's my mash / lauter tun. You see that the manifold down below, they have holes underneath them that I drilled, and it pulls the mash, or the wort when it's done, through this manifold and out the spigot here, and into the kettle later. I'll show you how that's done after I fill this thing up with grain. I got my grain stirred in, hot water, it's steeping like tea. So now I just got to cover it up and let it sit there for an hour and check on it then. Alright, it's been an hour. This stuff is ready to go. Mash is done, passed the starch conversion test, and is ready to be drained into my kettle. So let me get that started. Okay, I forgot to mention this when I first put them in, but First Wort hops. Here they are. I put a ½ ounce of Centennial hops in the bottom of the collection vessel while I was, and still am, extracting my wort from my mash. So it's called First Wort Hopping. It's a sort of a technique to improve the flavor of your beer. Here's my first runnings from the mash tun, going down, filling up the pot. I'm probably going to be doing, well, I'm definitely doing a second runnings and maybe a third to fill this thing up. The kettle's boiling, about 15 minutes. I have a 75-minute boil going here, so this is it's been about 15 minutes since I started the boil. At the 60-minute mark, I'm throwing in about another ½ ounce of Centennial hops. I'll let that go another 15 minutes. This is time for my second hops addition, Centennial hops, more another ½ ounce. It's the boil's been on for a ½ hour now. I put one addition in at the 60-minute to 0 mark. This is the 45 to 0 minute mark. I'm going to put another ½ ounce in there. Set the timer for another 15 minutes until I get down to the ½ hour mark, and I'll add more. We're at the 30-minute to 0 mark here. I got another ½ ounce of Centennial. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that greatness in that little bucket of hops there. Throw that in there for another 15 more minutes, and I'll throw yet another addition in. We're at the T-minus 15-minute mark. This is where everything comes together. I got my my next addition of Centennial hops, another ½ ounce going in there. I'm also going to throw in, let me reach over here, grab some Irish moss. This is going to help with clearing the wort or the beer so it's more clear. It's actually seaweed. It's been rehydrated. So it's T-minus 0. I turn off the flame. Got my aroma hops right here. Going to toss those right on in there. Come on, get in there. There we go. All right, all good. Then I got my my immersion chiller already sterilized in the muck. I'm going to turn this thing on, cool this thing down from boiling down to about 75 degrees in about 20 minutes. Now I'm draining the kettle, about most of the way done. Draining it down to the through my little mesh filter to get some of the crud out of there, some of the trub they call it, which is like hops and hot break and cold break. That's going right down into the kettle just fine there, or the carboy. You can see it's a little over 3 gallons now. I'm going to get up to about 5, maybe 5 1/4 hopefully, and then I'll add the yeast. About 5 gallons of freshly brewed wort, ready to aerate and add yeast to. I'm aerating the beer with some oxygen with an aeration stone, going up to a can of oxygen there, and get it about a couple minutes to rebuild the oxygen reserves in the wort so the yeast can have a feast. Pour it in the yeast and inoculating my beautiful wort. 5 gallons of liquid greatness ready to ferment and produce a loving beverage. The airlock is in place. Mission accomplished, brew day accomplished, except for the cleanup. It's day 2. The yeast is actively growing, as you can see. There's a lot of activity going on inside the carboy. Got a nice yeast cake starting to build up there. The turbulence inside with the yeast taking that sugar and converting it to both alcohol and carbon dioxide. Let's take a look at the airlock. You can kind of see right there. It's just going crazy. Building out that carbon dioxide, CO2. So this is going to go on for a period of days, and when it slows down I'm going to let it age for a few more days, and then I will keg it. This is day 3. You can see here that the yeast cake got really big, really tall, and it's still fermenting pretty well. Activity is slowing down a bit. You can kind of see it's starting to, well, it's still kicking around, but it'll slow down even more. And then you can also see the airlock here is still moving, still bubbling. It's slowing down. Day 3. The yeast cake will recede. Activity will slow, and the wort will clear. It's been 2 weeks. The beer is ready to transfer into the keg. As you can see, the beer lightened in color, clarified, and left a nice little yeast cake on the bottom there, which will go to waste. It's got a nice color to it, and it is ready to transfer, and let me hook that up. The beer is now being siphoned right out of the carboy, right down into my waiting corny keg, my Cornelius keg. It's about a 5 1/2 gallon keg used for soda pop, or soda, or cola, or whatever you call it from whatever part of the country you're from. But it's filling it up with beer right now, and that's all I care about. You can see in there that the beer's filling up, and when it fills up I'm going to put the lid on it and pressurize it, and then it'll be a few more days until we can drink. Now I've got the lid on finally. I got my CO2 line in there, and I've purged the remaining air out of there, so now it's all carbon dioxide and beer in here now, and it's going to pressurize over the next few days. I'm going to put it into my kegerator here next to me and chill it down as well. Alright guys, time's arrived. It's chilled, carbonated, tapped, and ready to go. Let's give it a pour. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, nice and carbonated. You got a nice head forming on there. Okay, time to try the beer. Oh, that is good. Well worth the effort and the wait. Oh man, nice color, good head, good hoppy aroma. All that Centennial hops comes through. Oh, this is delicious. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I'm going to enjoy this beer. See ya.